welcome to another Down the Rabbit Hole video, and if you're wondering what the title of this means, I'm giving an attempt at, well, basically this is my lame attempt at a Friday Drivey. What the heck is that? Years ago, I subscribed to Steve Benway, and still subscribed to him, and he had, at that time, a series every Friday. He would sit down and talk about his week, talk about games he was playing. Oh dear, that hurt. Called the Friday Talkie. And everybody who follows Steve Benway loved that show. We really miss it. I know Steve's just been too darn busy. After a certain point, he just said, no, I've run out of steam, I've got a lot of things going on. Then he started studying some stuff, so just didn't have the time. That also hurts. Didn't have the time to do the Friday Talkie anymore, and oh well, that's life. I also subscribed to another UK YouTuber called Jurassic Junkie, and around the same time, he was also doing a thing called the Friday Night Rant, where he would similarly sit down on a Friday and give his opinions on the news of gaming for that week, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed listening to him. And as the months wore by, he eventually dropped off the amount of shows he was doing for that, and did announce, you know what, I got too much going on, I'm too busy, and he stopped doing the Friday Night Rant. In more recent years, Alan Stewart has picked up the mantle and decided he's going to do what he calls the Friday Waffle. And it's been awesome to see Alan continuing along this great tradition several years now. And I've been asking my questions of Alan and really enjoying all that Alan brings to the conversation. Admittedly, even Alan over all these years has sometimes said, you know, I'm kind of running out of steam. This is not easy to do. And I've always thought to myself, how would it be to actually try to make one of these videos? So I'm kind of just giving this a try. I think this is not by any means my attempt to step into the ring, to throw my hat in there and say, yeah, I'll totally do one of these Friday videos. I'm not doing that. Alan, do not worry. Your career is safe. I'm not stepping on your toes. I'm just seeing, like, what are the logistics? I mean, for me personally, this has been a little bit of a setup here. And whereas with normally my videos, I edit them for content, I cut out myself saying too many times or coughing or whatever, or if the cat's getting away, I do, you know, I'll edit that out. Somebody might phone, or the cats might jump up in front of the camera here, or anything could happen. And I'm thinking, unless it's disastrous, I'm just going to leave it running. So that's what I'm doing here. Why am I playing Burnout? Oh, there goes Tiggs. Speak of the devil. Why am I doing Burnout Paradise? This is actually kind of a tip of the hat to Steve Benway. He did one of his Friday Talkies in this game, and he decided, well, it's not really a Friday Talkie, I'll call it the Friday Drivey. And so and I think he even did one in Red Dead Redemption where he was on the horse, and he called it the Friday Ridey. So it just became this sort of funny laugh of like, what other names are there other than Friday Talkie, or in Alan's case, Friday Waffle? And yeah, I just thought, well, I'll call mine a Friday Ridey here, or Friday Drivey, in reference to Steve's original. And I am doing Burnout Paradise on purpose for another reason as well. Paradise has actually just recently been remastered for the PlayStation 4, and I was listening to a podcast, Giant Bombcast. They certainly don't need a shout out from me because they're huge podcasting, well known in the industry. If you haven't heard of them and you're interested in a really excellent gaming podcast, check out Giant Bombcast, because those guys are great. Their shows are a bit long, like a couple of hours at a time, so, you know, bear that in mind. But they were talking recently about the remaster for Burnout Paradise, and Jeff Gerstmann on the show was saying just how awesome the original game was. And I mean, he loves the new remaster as well, The overall opinion seems to be, well, it's not like this game really needed a remaster, and honestly, I'm sitting pretty close to the TV here so that you can hear me and stuff, and it looks awesome even up close, so I'm sure the remaster looks even greater and smoother, but this game really nailed it in many ways. And yeah, Jeff was just saying that what he really liked about Burnout was the fact that it's an open world. You can just drive around and fart around and just do silly stuff. You don't even need to do the races. Just enjoying the open world is enough. And I thought, yeah, this might actually be the perfect kind of position to do my rambling on about stuff video. I had actually thought years ago, when this first occurred to me, hey, would I ever want to do one of these Friday videos? I actually had a different concept in mind. I was thinking, I don't have a capture card or anything. You'll probably notice most of the stuff I do, I'm just pointing the camera at the TV and recording it. But the nice thing with the PS4 is it does have sort of capture card capability in it. And I was thinking, you know what I might do is actually play Journey, where you've got that little Jawa guy running around in the desert. Because one of the trophies that I've never managed to successfully get for Journey involves you just sit around in the sand and... Oh, that's the wrong button. If you sit around, like, just meditating or whatever, Journey has a neat multiplayer. People can kind of join you and walk around with you. Just one other person. And if you're... Oh, I got that one already. If you're lucky, if they sit with you and you just sort of meditate in the sand together, you get a trophy for that. So I thought, oh, well, why don't I try and do... There's a super gel. Why don't I try and do my version of this Friday video thing where I'll just sit around in the sand and talk about my week, and maybe, just maybe, somebody will sit with me and I'll get that trophy I've been missing. There's a new one. Unfortunately, the downside of the PS4 for capturing video, it only does it in like 15-minute chunks, and then I'd have to like stitch them together, and I just thought, nah, it's not really practical. That's just not going to work. There was another video that my wife kind of suggested or had thought of. Once again, it was something inspired by Steve Benway. He was actually out for a walk in some of the local areas near where he lives, sort of just checking out the scenery, getting out and about. And I think I've mentioned before when I did my Why I Don't Need an Atari Jaguar video, one of our cats, Jinx, the black one you've seen in the bloopers, I actually take her out for a walk in just the local area around the house here. And my wife was saying, wouldn't it be kind of funny, why don't you do like Steve Benway? Why don't you walk around the local area and... Oh, the announcer's saying something. Yeah, why don't you walk around with Jinx and kind of do one of those videos? That might be kind of fun. And I thought of doing that. I was actually close to it because I thought that might be kind of an interesting way to do stuff. Unfortunately, Jinx has a problem of if she gets spooked, like usually a car will do it or something will just suddenly set her off, she will bolt back to the house. And that would mean a very sudden, unexpected end to the video. And I just thought, yeah, no, that's really not practical either. So instead, when I heard Jeff Gerstmann talking about Burnout Paradise, I thought, yeah, I'm going to throw on Burnout Paradise. This is on PS3. And I'm just going to drive around and talk a little bit about my week and just see what all is involved. And since Tig has already kind of wrecked part of this video by yakking up a storm in the background there, I don't know if I'll be doing this, but why not? Let's at least stick my toe in the water of it, if you will. One other thing about the way I'm playing Burnout here, I have done a video about this ages ago. It is on the PS3, but I'm actually using this NeGcon controller. Whoa! Okay. Yeah, I'm using the NeGcon to steer. There's a whole bunch of adapters you can hook up that allow you to play, because this controller is actually designed for the PS1. But if you get kind of a Frankenstein bunch of collection of adapters and wires, you can actually make this work for the PS3. So it's a nice steering wheel in your lap kind of a thing. I mean, I've thought about maybe getting a steering wheel controller, but I've already got a joystick I barely ever use, and a fight stick that I don't really use that often. In fact, 2 fight sticks now that I think about it. So getting a steering wheel as well, it's just not practical. Besides, this NeGcon hookup, this is a great way to do the vast majority of racing games on the PS3. Doesn't work on PS4, because they've got that weird, you have to identify it by hitting the PS icon button in the center and all that kind of stuff, so that's annoying. But yeah, no, I've got a huge library of tons of racing games for the PS3 that I can use this NeGcon steering wheel for, and it's a great way to do it. Now, I posted just recently a video of, I did a little trip last week to Philadelphia, and we just thought it might be kind of fun. You'll know the video if you've seen it. It's the one just preceding this. It was just a fun little tip of the hat to what that trip was like. Or you know, since we were there, it's not like we did any kind of Assassin's Creed things. A friend of mine was asking, because he had enjoyed my Boston video. He had said, "Are you doing Philadelphia because it's something to do with Assassin's Creed?" I said, "Nope. We just happened to decide to go there and film things, take pictures around the Liberty Bell and all that kind of stuff." Philly did unfortunately suffer a nor'easter while we were there, and what was very odd was the town kind of shut down for one day, like completely. We had a kind of hope to go in to see the Liberty Bell. Our hotel was very close by, and we thought, well, since the snow's coming on Wednesday, why don't we kind of time it so that, oh, I should get repaired actually. Let's just turn around here. Why don't we time it so that we do all the indoor or all the outdoor stuff or things that require us going a distance? We'll do that, and then on Wednesday, since that'll be the day of the snow, we'll be smart about it, and we'll actually go see the Liberty Bell that day. Unfortunately, we walked across the street to the Liberty Bell on that snowy day, and there was a National Guard or somebody out there with a big scarf on saying, "Yeah, we're not open. We're not letting anybody in." I was like, oh, darn it. Because schools were closed and everything else, so there's no point. And we said, well, what about some of the other museums nearby? And he said, no, they kind of take their clue from us. If we're not open, they're not open either. So I was like, oh, geez, all right. Ooh, that was a weird crash. So then we decided to go back to the concierge and say, well, can we go to a shopping mall or anything? And they said, nope, everything's closed. So it was a little bit of a bust that one day. However, we kind of needed a break from all the walking we've been doing, and it was actually good timing. But the steps video that I just posted, that was, I think, the day after. And we had a really good time. No, actually, it was the second to last day we were there. Had a really good time in Philly. I will tell this story. I've told it a few times, and it's kind of funny. Before going, I had heard there was going to be snow. I heard it was going to be kind of dicey, so I decided to post a question on the Atari Age forums. I was like, hey guys, we're going to Philly, and it's going to be, you know, probably snowy. Any, like, cool retro gaming stores there or anything? That kind of stuff? Or a barcade we could check out? And I was a little alarmed. Most of the replies were people saying, be very careful. We've gone and we've taken a wrong turn, and we were kind of in some dicey neighborhoods, so you just watch yourself. And I thought, ooh, okay, this is starting to sound pretty... Like, at first I thought, oh, it's just one person, or maybe somebody who doesn't really enjoy... Like, a lot of people are like, why are you going to Philly? And I was like, it's, you know, history and stuff. Maybe I thought initially, oh, these are just people who are into sun and sand. That's why they're questioning why we want to go there. But as other people were kind of chiming in saying it's a little bit of a dicey city, be careful, I started worrying, like, am I taking us somewhere kind of dangerous? I hadn't really anticipated that. As it turns out, it was fine. We had a really good time. We met some really cool people there, and let's see if I can get the boost going there. There we go. Hey, I got that billboard. Yeah, no, we had a really good time, except for the fact that we were snowed in that one day, and it was an all right trip. I quite liked it. Unfortunately, I had a little bit of bad luck after that trip. We got back, and a couple of pretty major things happened. First of all, I checked my visa bill and kind of almost got dinged twice for the hotel room, which was a little bit scary. Because one of those things, like if you've already left and it's been several days later, how easy is it to reverse a charge like that? I've never been in a situation like that. Is it, do we have to pursue things through some kind of third party? What do you do if your money is tied up in another country, that type of thing? Luckily, we did all this through our travel agent, and I emailed him very calmly. I had to take a moment because I saw the total on the bill was way more than I was expecting. But I just thought, all right, let's just think calmly here. This is what travel agents are for. And I emailed him. I said, hey, this sudden charge appeared on our bill. Oh, I hit the wrong button there. And I think maybe we got billed twice, so what's going on there? Oh, that counts. Good. And luckily, I was walking past his office the following day, happened to pop in my head, and he said, yeah, did you get my email? I said, no, I haven't checked emails yet. He said, everything's taken care of, you're under control. I guess there was some kind of a paperwork mix-up, but not to worry. We got it all sorted. I'm like, ooh, thank goodness, because that was a real, that clears the sinuses, as they say. The other big bit of bad news that nearly happened was I decided, maybe this happens for a lot of you other guys who render your videos and you're uploading them and stuff like that. You ever get like low on hard drive space on your computer? I've been slowly but surely losing space. Like, I do a good job of trying to get rid of old files I don't need, and when I'm finished with my video, I clear it up, get rid of all the original raw footage, I back up my original or my final video, and then I delete all the files and even defrag occasionally. In this case, it was like, you are really running low on space now. There is a disk cleanup utility, which I've never really dabbled with because I figure, well, I'm good enough at I know how to keep my hard drive under control. But I just thought, yeah, maybe I'll run it this time just to let it scan and see what the heck's going on, because despite my best efforts, I'm still running out of hard drive space. And yes, lo and behold, it said you've got like tons of these files, things like temporary internet files, which I do clear out as often as I can. But there was one thing that was listed that I'd never really thought about before, and it was and I'm trying to remember exactly the right words here, the Windows Update temporary files. And I thought, oh, well, my machine's updated just fine. And I know that I've seen, like at work, sometimes the temp folder, when we apply patches and hotfixes and stuff, sometimes the temp folder doesn't delete those temporary files very often. And I thought, oh, well, I'll just run that part of the disk cleanup. Yeah, how much is in there? 30 gigabytes. Oh my God, because I've never really run it. Okay, yeah, sure. Ouch, that's gonna hurt. Yeah, I thought, sure, let's run the disk cleanup and yeah, get rid of those 30 gigs of temporary internet file or temporary Windows Update files, because I can certainly use 30 gigs. And that guy's talking again. All right. So, ran the utility, took a little bit of time and stuff like that, and it was happening kind of close to the time that I needed to go to work the next day, and I was just like, all right, well, let's close them, let's shut the machine down. It's finished what it's doing. It's not really showing that I have much more room, but sometimes after a reboot, that's when the file changes seem to be more relevant. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna actually just take the computer, shut it down, and deal with it tomorrow. Next time I turned the computer on, it kind of looked more like I had actually just put it in sleep mode instead of actually being shut down properly. And it was stuck at like this 100% message, do not shut your machine off. I thought, okay, that's not good. I'll wait. And I waited and waited and waited, like an hour. I was like, still said the same thing. So I forced the machine off, and then I decided to turn it back on and pray, and it said exactly the same thing again. So I was like, okay, well, at least I haven't done any damage, but I'm stuck in this cleaning, what did it say? Cleaning files, I think, 100% do not turn your machine off for hours and hours and hours. So I was like, okay. how about we force the machine off again, since that didn't really do that much harm, and restart and go into safe mode. Yeah, let's give that a whirl. Did that, and this time at least it had the same message. Well, it did like the safe mode, you know, or what was it? Windows do not shut down properly. Do you want to start in safe mode? Yes, I do. Okay, no problem. And it ran that usual DOS prompt thing you always see. And then it had a different message. It was that same, cleaning up files, but this time it said 35%. I'm like, oh, okay. We have a little bit of a different scene here, so I'll just let it sit. And then it changed again from 35% to something other than cleanup. And I can't remember because I'm driving the car here and I can't really concentrate. But anyway, long and short, it did eventually fire up into safe mode. And thank goodness, because I was getting to that point where, you know, when you think to yourself, okay, the computer's toast. Now I have to start thinking about what all do I... How bad is this going to be if I suddenly don't have a computer? And of course it was the day I needed to upload my What's on the Xbox video. I thought, alright, well, I do have a couple of videos sort of backed up in archives so that in a pinch, in an emergency, I can do some kind of a post. But I wasn't too happy about the fact that my computer was on the blink, and then you start running through, okay, well, what all is on there? I've got my taxes and my, you know, pictures I'm fine. I always back those up every year, and I have checked recently. All my pictures are backed up on CD, so that's fine. And all my videos for my YouTube channel, those are all elsewhere as well. But the little things, like the taxes or the, you know, passwords for stuff I don't use very often. Like, I don't know, next time Netflix asks me to log in again, I'll be like, okay, what the heck was a password for that? That sort of thing. Or eBay. There are files and things that I think to myself, like, if I'm suddenly without being able to use those, how hooped am I? And I started getting pretty depressed. I was just like, all right, well, let's go back and at least see what's happened with this 35% thing. Lo and behold, as I mentioned before, yes, 100%, we're into safe mode. I've got a start button finally. Thank God. Okay, start buttons are good. I would now like to restart the machine very carefully. And it did restart, and it brought it back up. Windows looked normal. I was very relieved. I did a couple more reboots, and ever since, computer's been fine. And, as a bonus, I got 40 gigs free. So, it was a good idea, or it was worth doing. But I'm just going to say right now, if you're ever thinking of running that disk cleanup utility on Windows, and you see the Windows Update temporary files, be extremely careful. Don't panic if what happens to me happens to you. Just give it time, let it run, and if you have to, go into safe mode the way I did, because that was a real moment. I was starting to sing soprano. I was not very happy there that time, so. That was a couple of, you know, between that and the visa statement thing, this past week was a little bit dicey, so just thought I would share. Now, excuse me, one other thing that I do want to test with the camera here is I did a video response to Swifto a while back, and I was kind of yammering on and blathering away and not noticing how long I had been chatting for. And, whoops, when I went to edit the video, it was shorter than the original raw footage, because I kind of hummed and hawed and backtracked a couple of times. But I remember stopping the recording when I had finished all that I wanted to say. When I went to edit the video, I was noticing, hey, I'm getting on to like the 30-minute mark, and there's like the end of the roll of film on my editor. I know I've talked for longer than this. Where the heck is the other bunch of stuff that I said? Because I know I talked easily another 10 minutes or so. Where is that? And then, yeah, lo and behold, in mid-sentence, that's the end of the video clip. I'm like, okay, that can't be. Because I know for a fact, I said more stuff, and when I was finished and completely done the video, I stopped recording. So where's that other lo and behold, in the camera roll, there's the second part of that conversation. So my camera, apparently, will record for 30 minutes straight, and if I'm still waffling on at the 30-minute and 1 second mark, it's going to stop one file and continue right on with the next file. And I kind of want to just test that theory again. We've been going for 25 minutes now, almost 26. So this will be another interesting test. Does my camera allow me to... Let's go up here. Whee! Does my camera do as I think and allow me to continue chatting away? Because that's something I never understand, whether it's Steve Enway or Alan Stewart or anybody else. How do you guys, like, you must have these giant files. I know in Alan's case, oh, big crash. In Alan's case, he would often say, oh, the camera's about to run out of space or whatever, I'm going to stop the video here. And then he would pick up right where he left off. And I'm just thinking to myself, how would you do that, like, I don't know, like, I'm wrapping my head around the mechanics of that. I guess you stop recording, pull the memory card out of the camera, sync it over to your computer, put it back in now that it's got enough space, and pick up where you left off? Or do you have, like, a backup? Because I would always think I'd be losing my train of thought. You know, and the way Alan does it, at least, no, he's just pretty much, you know, he might take a second to be, well, where was I talking about? Oh, yeah, this such and such. And he's right back where he was, so... It's one of those interesting little quirks or kind of looking behind the scenes, if you will. This is why I want to do this video. I want to find out what's it like running and having to now change the clip or change the memory card, whatever, and then continue on. Now, in my case, with luck, as we sit at 27 minutes and 30 seconds, am I going to have to do anything, or is it just going to start a new file? I don't know. I'm very curious. I guess what I will do as a final subject here, and as a way of testing that, crossing the 30-minute threshold, Alan was talking in the most recent Friday Waffle. And again, Alan, I'm not doing this to replace you. Do not worry. This is just me trying it out. In the most recent Friday Waffle, Alan was talking about how Bangkok Ian had sung the praises of Wipeout for the PlayStation 4 Wipeout Collection HD, I think. I can't remember the name of it. Because it's been patched with PSVR support. And actually, I'll tell you what, let me hit the brakes, because I gotta get a drink. All this talking really makes you thirsty. I think we're about to cut over to the next video clip. Hang on a second. Alright, let's continue. 1 minute to go to the camera cuts. Wipeout VR, Bangkok Ian did a little video about it. And I had bought it when it was on sale a couple months ago, knowing this patch was coming. So, I was very happy when the patch dropped, and lo and behold... Oh, now he's talking again. Hang on. Let's get around this so that the guy doesn't talk too much. I don't know about YouTube and their copyright stuff. If somebody's performance is captured, I might get a flagged cost or whatever. So, anytime I hear like somebody acting or something, I try to talk over it. Okay, I think we're good. Yeah, I've moved away from that area. Let's continue. So anyway, Wipeout VR. Yeah, I bought it when it was on sale, and the patch loaded, and I fired it up as well. And Alan was saying he's already disappointed having tried it because it's setting off his motion sickness. He doesn't usually suffer too badly from it, but Wipeout VR is doing it for him. And I gotta confess, it's doing it for me too. Now, I've only played it initially, like I was kind of busy trying to rescue my computer and worrying about my visa statements, that kind of stuff, as I mentioned. But I just thought, well, okay, let's distract ourselves by at least trying out the PSVR version of Wipeout, and because of all the bad luck and the stress that was causing, I didn't have a lot of great sleeps that week, and I was not feeling great. And then I jumped into this Wipeout thing, and I had a blast. Like, it looks awesome. It's gorgeous looking. It is probably one of the best looking PSVR games that's running right now. And I was just like, yes, this is fantastic. I even, like, I pulled all the settings down so that it was make me as sick as possible, because I've played a lot of stuff now. Like I mentioned, I did that rigs video and stuff. I'm fine with, I don't get motion sick much. I'm just going to be a-okay with this. Pull all the settings back and let me play it as is. Which I did. Is that, no, I continue. I guess I better get a repair. And then I was finding I was kind of queasy, and I didn't feel too good, like the motion sickness feeling. I thought, okay, well, I didn't sleep very well, and it was a very short little exposure. I don't think it's a problem with Wipeout VR. I think I was just not feeling too well. That's a-okay. But it was lingering for days, and I was just like, ooh, I'm feeling like really not too hot here. This is not a good sign. Especially since I really enjoyed the brief bit that I played of Wipeout. So, and I did post my video for Out of Ammo. They've done that big update, which I really, really recommend. If anybody bought that game and didn't like it, give it another try now that they've done that patch, because it's really good. But that was all footage captured on my PS4, and I just used the headset to kind of look at the footage and, you know, use the editing software and all that stuff. Even just doing that, I was feeling a bit queasy. Oh, there's get repaired there. Yeah, I was not feeling it. I was like, I'm a little headachy, a little stomach turned. I'm not thrilled. And I just thought, well, that's not even playing any VR stuff. That's just using the headset like a big monitor. I hope I'm not becoming sick of VR. Like, that would really suck, because I enjoy it a lot. And I waited a very long time, and I made sure I was going to get that purchase. And when I finally did so, I've been extremely happy with VR on PlayStation, and I did not want to suddenly develop a kind of a sickness toward it. That actually happened for Lactobacillus prime. He had mentioned that he really loved it at first, and then he did not like it. Like, he developed that motion sickness, and he had to actually give up his VR headset. And I was just like, I don't want to become like Mark. I like my setup. I don't want to lose this thing. So luckily today I went back in and I started playing some stuff just to test the waters. I did very light kind of things. I did Castle Crashers, Castle Storm, which I got when as a free pre-order. When I pre-ordered Out of Ammo, I got Castle Storm, sorry. And that's a very, like, you're just statically sitting there watching two castles in an Angry Birds kind of a setup. So I was like, okay, I'm feeling alright, having played a few levels of this. That's a good sign. Let's maybe up the ante a bit. I'll play some Moss, which is, by the way, a fantastic game. I know everybody sings its praises, and they are right. Moss is great. I really, really love Moss. Again, pretty safe. You're sort of a static camera view. You're looking at there's like a little diorama, and you're running Quill, the mouse, around so that she can find her way through the maze or through the puzzle. So it's not the kind of thing that's going to set me off too much. And then I thought, all right, I've been fine now playing that for a little while. Let's amp it up a bit more. Let's play in Battlezone. You can play the original pseudo 1970s arcade machine, but in the VR headset, but with the sort of green grid Tron-like interface and all that stuff. And that's a little more like you're rolling around and you're moving side to side. It might trigger a little bit of motion sickness. I was fine, no problem at all. I played for quite a long time. I was like, okay, then let's go a little full bore. Now I didn't put in Wipeout because I thought let's let's just go carefully here. Let's tread lightly. What I ended up doing was actually going with Dirt Rally. That was one that was also on sale recently, and I really, really like that game. And it's very, I mean, you're in a car flying around and you're doing like rally driving, so you're in a situation where your car will maybe sometimes get like flipped over, or you're going into ditches and you're like banging into trees. Like it's kind of harsh on you as the driver. And I thought, okay, if anything is gonna test the situation here, it's gonna be that, because I've been fine. I've been able to play Dirt Rally for hours and had no problem. So let's just see if this becoming sick thing impacts me. Nope, I was fine. I played about 4 races, in fact 5, because one of them I had to restart. Yeah, I was A-okay. So I think either I was just not feeling very well that day, and Wipeout was just kind of too much to push the limits with, or maybe Wipeout is, as Alan has discovered, just one of those titles that's it's a little too far. If you are even a tinge prone to any kind of motion sickness, Wipeout VR is maybe going to impact you a little more than the other games. So that has been my experience as well. I haven't gone back. I'm definitely going to go back, because I mean, it was on sale, so it was only $20. I'm not out too much if that title ends up being one that I don't really play due to the sickness. But I want to verify that that is in fact true, because when I was playing it, I was just like, this is awesome. This is like playing, you know, Phantom Menace Pod Racer, the video game, and I'm in the actual machine. It's great. It feels fantastic. It's just, maybe it's making me sick, so that's what ended up happening there. Okay, well, according to my camera, I'm coming up on 40 minutes here. It's not indicating anything wrong. So, I don't know, I guess maybe I'm going to call it here and see when I do edit the video, did it actually stop at 30 minutes? And, oh, okay. What the heck happened there? Okay. I must have hit a button. Well, you know what? Hang on. Maybe I can try to see. Yes. What did I do? Continue. I want to continue. Let me continue. I can continue. Alright. Weird. I seem to be out of gas. Nope. There we go. I must have hit the start button or something. The NeGcon is awesome, but it does have the start button very close to the D-pad, so maybe I've brushed against it. Anyway. Yeah. So, this has been my lame attempt at a Friday Drivey. I'm interested to see if anybody likes this, or if anybody wants me to do any more. It has been not too bad. Apologies that Take Me Out a couple of times and was knocking her toys around in the background. I don't know if you heard that or not. I certainly did. But, other than that, I've kind of enjoyed this. Now, the other question is going to be, how long does this take to render and upload and all that other kind of good stuff? I may run into a few hiccups as far as that's concerned, but it's been alright. And this is one of the longer videos I've done for obvious reasons. So, there we go. Alright, well, yeah, I think I'll call it here and upload this on Friday. Again, this is not me like taking over the reins or anything like that. Alan continued to do the waffle because I love that show. But I just thought I would try one of these Friday things, since some folks have had a heck of a good time doing them, and also maybe I would run out of things to say eventually. It's hard to say. Anyway. Oh, now the guy's going to start talking again. Alright, that's a good fight. I think this is a sign that they are trying to tell me you better wrap it up, buddy. So, I'm going to end it here. I will finish off and get this up on Friday. And as per usual, we'll see you down the rabbit hole.